Let's go.
Hello, my name is Rachel and I'm with Christine, my peer mate. We are going to present to you a library system. So the first thing that you see here is a login page. You're able to log in as an existing user or sign up. So when it comes to signing up, you're able to enter a username and email, enter a username and email, select a role, whether you're a student or a staff member. You're also required to set a password. The password has to be a minimum of 8 characters long with one capital letter, one number, and one special character. And if you don't fulfill those requirements, you get a message asking you to enter, displaying the problem to you, and you're able to re-enter a password. So when you set a strong password, you are then able to log in. And as a student, you're able to, once you log in, you see a homepage with all the books in the library and their status, whether they're available or borrowed. You're able to search through the books, either by book title or by author. So we can look for Thursdays, which is a book title that we have here. And it displays it to you. You can also search by author name. Go back home. You can pick an author name and search for that specific author and the book that is in the library. And there it is. You're then able to log out, which takes you back to the login page. Now we have pre-existing accounts for the rest of the roles. So a staff member. Yes, we have a staff member who can log in. For the staff, you can also view books that are available and borrowed, and you can also search just like a student. So if we log out, we can log in as a separate user, librarian. Christine, do you want to go over what a librarian can do?
Yes, so for the librarian account, you're able to manage books. So this is someone who's responsible for the lending and the borrowing of the books. So they have different actions such as editing, deleting, and returning and lending of books. So in this case, we have the different actions. So in the case where we have the book, the action written as lend, this means that a book is available for lending. And if I click on lend this Kevin Hart book, or for instance, this Atomic book that was recently made available on the 2nd of December, setting it to lent out means that she was now lent out today. Yes, so on the student side or on the other user side, that's a student or a staff who's not part of the library, they'll be able to see that this book is currently not available. We also have the option of searching through the books, just as Rachel had explained for other users. So you can do the same thing, search by author name. So if, for instance, I want to get that Atomic Habits book, but I only know it's by James, I can search it and then I'll be able to view my results. And then by simply clicking on Manage Books, you're able to get your list of books back. There's also the delete feature, so you can delete a specific book from the library. And yeah, you see that the book has been deleted, you have your fewer lists. You also have the option of adding a book. So back to the logout screen, we now have the admin who is the highest in rank in terms of the privileges that he or she has. So one of the users that we have is Christine here, myself. And once I log in as an administrator, I now not only have the option of managing books, but I can also manage users. So in this case, I have a list of all the users currently accessing the library. And yes, I can edit and delete the user. So for instance, if I was to delete the student one, all I do is just click on the delete button and the student is gone. Similarly to the lab, I can also add a user through this section, and they will be presented on this end. So I can just simply, let's do that quickly. We can have the user new at gmail.com, and the role can be that of a student. So I can set the password for them as user new one exclamation and user. Yeah, so this is all just about ensuring that the password is strong. So since they're not a librarian, I do not set this as checked, which is essentially just the privileges check. So that's done. And then yeah, we have the user created and now signed in as the new user. So basically that's it from our side in terms of just going back to the admin section. That's basically all that is left to cover. The last thing I also wanted to demonstrate is the fact that we have the MySQL injections catered for, and this is on the side of our code. So I'll just close up everything and then just demonstrate how you're able to do that. Close all. So we did a form of making the code very granular and divided it. So we have um, the app, and inside we have a database folder. And here we have the configurations, which is essentially where we set up the credentials for accessing the database. And then now we have the db.php file, which now contains a list of the different commands that will be run. So for instance, if we were to create a certain entity in a table, we'd use a create function which takes in the table and the data. So from there, we run the connection, and we have the SQL variable itself, which is essentially going to be a statement on its own. So what this does is that it separates the SQL from the data, and hence SQL injections are prevented because these two are treated as two different entities, and hence it would not be possible for a user to put in an SQL injection within the input fields because it will be stored in as a data, which is going to be looped through and passed through specifically after the SQL statement, and hence will not be registered as an SQL command to be executed. So yeah, that's an example of at least how we were able to bypass the issue of SQL injections. Yes, so just a point of note, we also have the library.sql dump here. So if you wish to upload it to PHP or rather do some tests, then you have able to do that through here. That's all that we have from our end, unless my colleague has anything further. Yes, that was our library system simulation.